we're going to have an idea of 3 goals, and then we're able to measure it. So your one here is follow up like a pro, but we want to get yes, because we want to turn coffee into clients. So we still follow this process, but we want to make sure our goal, because one of our main takeaway is to get yes for coffee. And it's important for you because your following up is going to be slightly different. It's not in your interest just to give out lots of business cards, because insurance has to kind of be followed up. For them to know more on how it's done, you have to have this one-to-one. Because in the networking event, when you've identified that yes, they're interested, a networking event is not really the environment to say, okay, it's going to cost this, I have to look at how much.
Yeah, talking about prices.
Prices. So that's why the how is really important at this stage. And you're in a different service, so it's not like website or coaching. How much is it? How is it going to take place? You can't. It's a personal situation. So one of the things that we're going to talk about is when we're going through these stages, how we deal with the how to make sure we get the yes. That I tell you a bit more how it's done. Yeah. Okay. So if we go through and look at what you're passionate about, because we need to use all of this in here to get the yes. So what's really great? Experience, fantastic. Helping people, fantastic. Because this creates trust and likability. Now, I know it may not be a concern to you, but I think it's also a bonus. So where you said like English is your second language, this here is a real bonus for that. Where do you originally come from?
I'm from Romania.
Romania?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we're doing master of the conversation, I'm going to use that for here because the how is very much connected to trust and likability. So what we're going to do is use this as an asset when we're doing master practice and we're doing the questions and answers for you to make sure we're always bringing trust and likability, because this is important, but this is more important than this, because this is your job.
Yeah.
Once you identify what their needs are, you can construct how you're going to deliver, talk to them. But it's this moment we have to gain their trust and liability, or we can't get to this stage. So there's lots of different things we can do. Talking about Romania, we can bring a bit of jazz to it, make them feel comfortable, because we want them to feel trust, liability, and confident. Okay, because it's a really personal. And then this one is
talking with the people.
Okay, yeah. Okay, talking with people, excellent. This is great. Because that means when you're here, you're going to feel confident. So it's a shame I didn't have blue tack to...
I have.
Oh, gosh!
Is it blue tack?
Yeah.
Oh,
my
no. Oh.
What do you have?
No, it's just blue pen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, tack.
That's all right. Because I thought this...
You can stick it.
I'm going to try something. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. Right. So we're going to do this together.
Yeah.
Because there will be a number of goals. But we need to understand what the purpose of networking is first of all. Before, we're going to have a few goals here so you can understand, but we're going to need to stick to our 3 goals that are tailored for your insurance needs. So before we do the goals,
Yeah.
what we first have to understand is going back, being very clear on what we are selling,
Yeah.
and then who are our customers, and prepare to what some of their needs are, so we can match it up and create goals. So what we're going to do here is what are services, and then we're going to talk about more about the clients, and then verse the client's needs. Okay? Because this then helps us that when we walk into the networking room, we're able to talk to the right client first of all. It's going to help us, when we master the art of conversation, ask the right questions to identify their needs, that we quickly can say, it's this, is that, and that. Because this, you know, but we have to make sure they're the right clients. Because you're in a situation that you're in a very niche market, and what I mean by that is, if you just look at, this is the networking room. This is the networking room. All these people eating canapes and this crap. They're all eating, talking, spitting on each other.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the networking room. Now, before we do anything, actually identifying the client to sales, I just want to show you the percentage of how it gets reduced when you're networking, so that you're also prepared and aware that when you go networking and there might be 20 or 30 people in the room, how those margins are reduced, and also how your margins are slightly reduced because you're in a niche sector. And the reason why they're doing this is to look at numbers, to have a realistic number, also with goal setting. What are the key number of business cards we want from each event, and the key number of follow-ups, okay? Now, would you agree with your insurance, when you go to a networking event, would 100% of these people need insurance?
No.
Right. Would you say, of all these people have, for the services, they've got the available spend to purchase these services? So if they're on a 20k, 30k, depending on their services, every one of these people would have an extra 50 or 60 pounds to spend. Yes or no?
If they have, say no.
Right, because everybody's circumstances. So we could go down the list here, okay? So first of all, I have to show you, right, with networking, just based on the 80 to 20% rule. So if we look at 20%, 80%, right? The likelihood of the 80%, 100%, you're not going to speak to 20% of whatever the amount is, okay? So if there are 20 people, 40 people, you are not going to speak to every one of those, correct?
Correct.
So we're left with 80%. Why?
Okay.
So I can't even do it, an event 30s. I get other people to help me. So we know that it's knocked down by a few people. Then, okay, we speak to the other 80%. But what we have to realise is, when we take business cards and we phone, hi, do you remember me? I'm Alex, the nice, California, they're not going to remember. Ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, and then you don't meet. So I always say, prepare yourself that if you get average 10 business cards, 5 you might have a good follow-up straight away, the other 5 is going to take long. So I always say, prepare yourself for 50%. Right?
Yeah.
So that really means we've got 40% of the people. Yeah?
Yeah, 40%, yeah.
Okay. So we have that in mind. 40% of the people of any event, really, we're going to have a good conversation and it's going to be somewhere. And this isn't too important, so I'm going to just put this over here. Alright?
Okay.
Okay. So, this bit is important, and I've got your sheet here. So, you can look at this, but I know you know it by heart. So you were saying that your clients are these types of people, okay?
Yeah.
So what's really good is of that 40%, we've got quite a bit of different people. So that's good because it ups our number, because you might go to an event and it might be business owners, you might go to an event and then, you know, they might be family orientated or property or self-employed. So that's really good. So, what I would like you to do is give me 4 reasons, not 5. Yeah. So, and then what you need to do is just put the type of person here and what they need. Okay. So what we just have to do is, you've got these different types of insurance services. Sorry, that's not the one.
Yeah, it's
I
on
should,
behind.
let me swap it over.
Should we start over here so we can drop it here?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
If you're
so-
wanting
yeah,
to
why
see
not?
it there. So then this is your insurances. So that's your insurance
Yes,
list.
yes, definitely.
So what I just want you to do is, we're getting ready, that we're going to a networking event,
Yeah.
and we know we've only got 40% of people that is going to be likely to have the money, right circumstances. So we just need to do a bit of matching, prepare what could their needs be. So what's really good is you've had your own experience.
Yeah.
Oh, injured.
Yeah.
So the next, so we need to think and match. So critical illness, say like a business owner.
Yeah, yeah.
What if you get sick and then your business doesn't, you don't get money from your business? How are you covered? Family, life, business, public, insurance and liability, that one. Home might apply to everyone, wealth managers. So what I just want you to do here is, if you think of a scenario, so like the family,
Yeah.
parent died, some family member died, and then just put the service here. So just put the type, need, and then what that service would be.
Yeah.
Or self-employed is a good one. What if your home goes up in smoke or you get burgled? What you're able to provide. So just do that for those 4. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Are they waiting?
No, we've got the room till 4 o'clock.
Oh,
No.
okay. Right.
Yeah.
So I'll say. Okay, right. So on the on the service, what do I need to know, or what do I need to say?
Just match it to your 5.
Yeah.
Just put the number if you want over there, 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. What I mean by that.
Which kind of service we give them?
So look, yeah, here. Look, to save yourself writing, just put if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Yeah, just put it here, like number 1.
Oh, I see.
yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pop to the toilet. Save yourself writing. Just say which. Or if it's more than, if it's 1 and 5 or more than, you can put more than one service per.
Okay, right. Because what I did here, after when you finish.
Okay. Okay, we'll go through it then.
Yep.
So, the type, where's a sheet of paper? Right, Alex, so in the networking room, if you met a family type, what
Is it
could
home
their
insurance?
needs be?
Home insurance?
Yeah.
If they have a home insurance.
Yeah.
For themselves.
Yeah.
For themselves, it's like if they have a family.
Yeah.
So if they have critical illness.
Yeah.
So that means they're gonna have a family. So they need to have critical and life insurance.
Okay. Tell me a scenario. For example, your father died. That's a good one. So let's say a family death.
Yeah.
What else could happen that they need a need? We have to, when you're, I hate the word selling, but it is selling. But I replace the word selling with a need because nobody likes to be sold to. But if you, this is for when we're following up. So if you present a need, so this is an if, a what if. If your family member died, then one of these. So give me another what if, why they may need this. Or burglary is a good one. So what if, so you could say to me, oh, I never know, I don't know what insurance is. Then tell me, yeah, so just in case, what if
something will happen to your family or you or your family.
Why would I need criticals? I've never heard of critical illness before.
If you're in good health, critical, so by the time when you reach age of 40, so your health is getting weak, so it's gonna be like 30 to 40, your bone is getting heavy, and you know we're not age of 20 anymore, so we're getting ill by the time we
And does home include break and fire?
It's a home insurance, so it's everything like for the fires, for robbery, burglaring, or any like
Okay. And property.
Property,
break this down a bit more. What does that
property
customer
as a owner, as a property, so they have property or one property or more properties.
Okay, so it could be commercial.
Commercial, yeah.
So you could be commercial. So we have to be really specific. It could be a commercial property.
Okay, yeah.
Or it could be a property investor.
Yeah, property investor as well, yeah.
So let's do it as more commercial investor. So with more than one property, because it's their business as a business. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm a commercial property owner.
Yeah.
I could be a landlord.
Yeah, landlord. Yeah.
I could be a landlord who've got tenants who are using their. I'm selling to other clients who have commercial property in the building. I'm a property investor. Okay, then I need a mortgage.
Yeah.
This is the need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put 6 because there's you know, as a broker, so we do like we do everything. Let me
Okay.
tell you that. So when I meet a
Okay,
person, so meet him, so I'm just going straight. What do you need?
Yeah, good. And then home insurance,
Yeah, for
obviously.
all of them. Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, shops. Now be specific. Who
Shops.
customer? What are they doing? Who is it?
I would say they're self-employed, owners of shops.
High street shop
Yeah,
or
high
local
street.
shop?
Yeah, it can be high street, yeah, high street, or it can be any other like
Like a florist,
florists,
new
coffee
Asian.
shops.
Yeah, coffee shop. Right, because I just need to write something here for your interview as well. This is good. Yeah.
So even though it can be for any clothes shop,
Yeah.
it can be for you know, some people with
Yeah.
having, so they're having the older house,
Yeah.
and at the ground floor, so they
Yeah.
have an office. So that one is good for
Yeah. So yeah, they could be living on the top
Up,
floor and
and
then
down
the
they
shop.
have the
Good, got you. So yes, public liability. Yeah.
business
Person-
insurance.
Excellent. So can you see you have to know the customer a bit more?
Yeah.
Because when you go networking, you don't have a lot of time. So when you meet them in that networking room and you're mastering the art of conversation, when you're here,
Yeah.
it's like we know what they look like. So it's like a bowl of fruits. Are they apples? Are they oranges? Are they pears? Yeah? Good, right. So, excellent. So that's almost the same as commercial. Fantastic.
Yeah. Self-employed is basically, it can be for you know, business owners.
Good. Now, self-employed literally could be all of these as well.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Right. So that's important. So this is great. So what we're going to do here is the gold. So this is, so we can replace this one over here because we know exactly why we're passionate. This is all done. Okay. So let's move this one down here because we have to keep an eye on this one for each of the categories. So
Because this one here, it doesn't roll to down, but when they say critical, some people they're really fancy, yeah? Because some people, they want to spend money on his health. We do the private medical as well.
yeah.
So
Okay.
critical is one,
Sure.
private medical is
Sure.
another one.
Sure. Now, when you're going networking,
Yeah.
the biggest thing is you have to identify these types of people, and there's not going to be a lot in the room. So, what my number one goal, I reckon, is for you, is to make sure you try and walk away with 3 coffee meetings. Yeah? To get that yes. Okay? Now, in our case, because of the scenario, we have a fallback that if we get 2, it's still acceptable, but we really want to get 3. But
Yeah,
if we get
both,
2,
yeah.
2 is okay. Okay? Now, the next one is, what's really important for you here is to ask the right question to see if they fall in any of these categories. Not the service, the categories, yeah?
It's basically the main question, what do you do?
But we're going to tackle that in different ways.
Okay.
And this is called client type, because this is our winner. Okay, client type is our winner. Because once we know their category, once we know their category, we know exactly what their needs are, because there's 101 reasons and we know exactly what to sell. That's all we're interested in, yeah, to start with. Then the last one, we need to work together to have the last one. You mentioned, the last one is going back actually to the big 100%. That is to try, I think the last one needs to be referrals. So I'm going to go through gatekeepers. We're going to identify this one more with the 5 categories that I talked about at my event. And this one is to get referrals and gatekeepers. Because where it's so specific, if they say a no, or we find out they're not here, find out, do you know anybody else that might be interested? That's what we're going to do here. Do you give referral leads or percentages if somebody makes a referral?
So I think that one was a little bit struggle. It's not struggle. I was saying because I talk from my part of me. So I know the person which kind of service does. If I know somebody, definitely I'm going to recommend him, or maybe I can give a referral. But because in a insurance market, there are so many. And
okay.
So I found a little bit like people, they don't trust enough, or maybe they have their own advisor. And when I'm going out, I feel like, everyone has everything on place.
Yeah.
Nobody comes like, that is what I need. That is what I...
So it's hard to give referrals, yeah. Okay.
But as well, so when I go to an event, what I realize, what I see, the more part of it. So you need to buy what they're having to be as your customer.
Right, okay. All right, so what we're going to do in this section, this is building a network. So it's in your interest to really build a network of these types of people in your network. But it really sits into business owners, self-employed and commercial. So for you when you're networking, business owners are always going to be your customers because they're going to have family, or they may not have family just yet, or consideration, or a referral could be other people's family members. They got an aunt, uncle of consideration. The other thing is, I like this high street shop because a business owner is going to shop somewhere. So even if they don't have a family member or gatekeeper, who's your favourite local shop? Where do you shop? Do you always go Sainsbury's? Then that's a really great referral. The other thing is, I think property is really good for you. And I would say when you're networking as well, divide up your networking and start going to a bit more property events as well. Because property is always a great referral as well. Property people sit in the property industry and they're going to know other property investors, because a property investor is always looking for more commercial space, and landlords always want tenants. So they may also be a great gatekeeper, where if you have some business cards of business owners, they could potentially be their tenants as well. So that could help you, where you're asking them for referrals, but you can make referrals to other business owners that may not be interested in your service. So you're both doing each other a nice mutual benefit. So I'll definitely say that when we are looking at building a network, here, it's definitely the business owners, property, because this goes on forever, definitely self-employed, and then that opens up the door to family, the local shops as well. I'm going to put local shops here because I think this is a great market that we're not looking at. So I talked about gatekeepers. So when you're networking, it's always important that if we do get the no, to ask, do you know anybody else? And then you're actually able to be a bit more specific who you're looking for.
Okay.
Then you can tell them, I'm looking for also high street local shops, such as, because they may be living on the first floor and the shop's at the bottom, so you're specific. I'm looking for family members. Is it your family or your aunt, uncle? Do you know somebody that's just had a baby? Have you had a death in your family? That's a what if. So it's always what if scenarios. So when you're asking for referrals, be specific on the type, yeah, the client type. So you've got your list and keep it like 3, okay? Mm-hmm. Then the other thing is referral partners. You can be very open and honest and say, I attend a lot of networking events. Not everybody may need networking. So not everybody may need my networking services. And if you know somebody else, let's say referral partner, because I know a lot of business owners who aren't ready, but they could be your customers. You may know some people. So let's stay in touch and introduce, okay, each other. So I'll just actually put a 3A here. Or when you have your referral partners, just make a list, and on your email just keep a folder. Every time, say you meet, say Clayton at the event, you introduce Clayton to a website person, and that website person wasn't ready. So you just make sure you have a list of your referral partners as well, so that if you see them or speak to them on the phone again, you just say, is there anybody else that you've come across last week networking that you might be interested in? So you're keeping like a little sub-relationship with those referral partners. Yeah, so keep a folder so you know when you've made referrals for them. Yeah? Okay, so that's excellent. So let's look at mastering the art of conversation. Okay, so I'm going to look at open and closed questions. Because the biggest thing, when you enter the event, we don't have a lot of time. So we need to find out, yes, they're business owners, that's going to be obvious because the majority of the people there are. We need to find out, are they in property, are they self-employed or limited company? So what we need to think about is, at the right time, to do an open and a closed question. Because when you ask an open question, it usually starts with what, who, why, and they just answer maybe one keyword or one sentence to end the question, to answer the question. That's for a closed question. If you answer an open-ended question, it might take them longer.
Yeah.
Right. So what I want you to think about when you're networking with every one of these people, your goal is to get 2, 3 strong, yes, I want to meet you for coffee. So that means you don't have a lot of time. So what my recommendation is, when you're speaking to someone, try and set yourself a target of about 6 minutes. This is just on average as you go along, so you can practice trying to find out if they're the client type. And you want to do this within 6 minutes. If the conversation goes beyond 6 minutes, it's fine. But your goal is to try and ask at least 3 key questions so you can figure out if they're the client type within 6 minutes. And then you can go on to find out a bit more of their needs and to figure out if it's worth your while booking a coffee with them. Okay? So some of the closed questions to start with, I would definitely suggest would be, how long have you been in business? Because that will give you a bit of an idea about if they may or may not have their financial availability. If they're a new startup and they just started 2 months ago, 3 months ago, what's the probability that they will be willing to make an additional expense because they're just starting their business?
Okay.
So that's a leeway. Then the next question would be, are you a limited business? Are you self-employed? Or are you a sole trader?
Yeah.
Dependent on how the conversation is going, to get another answer to find out, there's different ways of asking a question.
Yeah.
How many employees do you have?
Okay.
Another way to find out then the size or how many, what's your location? Do you work from home? Do you work in the coffee shop? Do you work in co-working spaces?
Yeah.
Then another way to ask that question as a closed question, is it just you? Do you work from home behind a PC? Is it just you?
It's just you?
Do you work with freelancers? Who do you help work? Who do you have help and work in your workload? So that gives you a bit of an idea what size they are. Okay?
How can I find out what example is like how many employers? Or how can I talk to him? It's like if he's gonna give me the answer, like I have 2 employers.
So you could say something like, how busy is your workload? Can you manage your workload on your own? Then if they say yes, no, then it might be steering in this direction. How busy is your workload? Do you have employees? Then that gives you direction. They may be a bit busier, that they need more than one person. Then, if it's a business owner and you want to find a bit more about what they do, ask the open-ended question by finding out not so much the business sector they're in, but not the business services. Say, what industry are you? And that could then, you'll be coming up to the 3 minutes, then you'll start to get a feeling, I'm not sure about the industry, because the industry will also give you a direction on the what if. So they might say, are they marketing, accountants, solicitors, property? Okay, then get a feeling of the industry. Or if you want to ask more directly to find out if they're property, because this is the hot ticket, what services are you? And then they will tell you, or how do you help your clients? Yeah?
So for property, for property, what do I need to ask them? How do you do?
So first of all, ask them, what are your services? Or what industry are you? Then you know if it's property or not. Because if they say something else, you're going to know if it's property or not. If they say, I'm a broker, then you know you can ask them property. If they say I'm a printer, then you know it's property. So by asking what industry, you'll definitely know if they're property or not.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah? Then where you want then to qualify them, to find out if they're familiar with the insurance industry or they have insurance. By this time you can get a feel of them. There's a few ways we can do this. We can go direct with a closed question by saying, do you invest in insurance? Rather than saying, do you have insurance or not? Because that's going to come off like a sales.
So, yeah.
Do you invest? Now bear in mind, at this point, they have not asked you what you do yet. So you have a bit more power to find out from them first. Okay?
So I need to go first, yeah.
This is when you're networking, always try to be in the lead of the questioning before they ask you. So your job is 6 minutes, sounds a lot, but it's not. You can ask 3 questions to get yourself in a position, what client. 6 minutes is enough time, because 2 minutes could last 6 minutes. 3 closed questions, that's enough time. By that time, by 2 or 3 questions, that's when they're going to ask you. The reason you want to have a bit more power is to get your questions in to find out the client type. Also, it's advantageous because most people, and British people, I'm sure you've covered, they love talking about themselves. Now, what you have to do to make sure the 6 minutes is be ready to ask the next question to keep the conversation flowing. So one of the things you're going to have to just try and remember so your conversations don't go dry is, I keep saying 3. Of these, try and just think about 2 or 3 questions that you know could be standard that you'll ask all the time. Really think about 2 or 3. But what you have to do to make sure you keep the conversation flowing is be ready to ask the next question, even if you just get 2 rolling.
Yeah.
Always listen to the keywords, but more importantly, the last word they said. Now, this is how you can make your networking conversation advantageous for you while you're still learning the process. I know it sounds horrible, but you've got a job to do here to get the client time. 80% of the time, the first question you ask, they're going to ramble on. What you should then do is, in your mind, smile, because remember, you have the strength of engaging. Look how you're doing that. Smile, like, ugh. And if they're going on, because some British people do like to go on, all you're listening for is keywords. Business owner, just started. My workload's a lot. I don't have a lot of clients. I work from home. Just listen out to your keywords, right? So what we're going to do in a minute is write keywords that you know, tell. And then when you hear a keyword or the last word, that's how you prepare for the next question. So I'm just going to put here the client type. Now let's just randomly write keywords that helps us tell us the client type. So randomly just shout out things, and I'm going to write it here. So when somebody's talking, you'll listen out for keywords. So look at your questions and think about the different answers, and we're just going to randomly put keywords here that could be part of those answers. So think about those questions. Where are you based? What's your workload? Tell me what people might say that would jump out to you.
If they have family.
Yeah.
So if they have kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long you been married for? Or,
yeah.
Are you coming often to events?
Yeah.
How often you come?
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you can leave after when you finish this event?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How can what was your favorite part so far?
Of the event?
Yeah. How did you hear about it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, I've got a really great one here for you. So, when you're doing the questions, open and close, you've got no reasons to run out of questions. But all you have to do is make sure you keep the conversation flowing and ask the next question straight away. As long as you get 2 or 3 questions, as once you get your client type, then you can stop. Then by that time they're going to ask you. So as soon as they say, I'm married, family, okay, how long have you been married? Next question. Location. Yeah. Oh, I work in St. Paul's. Is that far from your house? Boof. Oh, do you have family? Boof, finished. I'm a limited sole trader. Oh, wow, do you have employees? Budoof. How long have you had employees? Budoof. What industry? What clients do you work from? Do you hear the last keyword? So you've got no excuse just to think of 2 or 3 questions. Then this event is good. Now we're going to come on to needs. And this is how you then answer questions of needs. So we carry it on. Here we go. Location. Oh, I work in Oxford Street. Okay, how far is that from your home? Have you ever invested in insurance?
Yeah.
Have you invested in insurance? When you're at home, do you have a family? What happens if your house gets burgled? Have you invested in insurance? Yeah? Then you'll get into the idea of their needs. I work in Oxford Street. Oxford Street. The event we went to in St Paul's. Where do you live? I live in North London. Oh, that's a long way that you live from North London. Do you live with family? Family. How many families? Ugh. By that time, you know, and their needs. Then, have you invested in insurance? Oh, what do you mean insurance? Oh, well, our event is St Paul's where we are. You live in North London. Have you thought about home insurance? What if you get burgled? The what if. And then that's when you start to know if they're for coffee. And don't forget numbers. You only need 2.
Yeah.
So if you went to 2 events a week, that's 2, 2, that's 4. So if you did that a month, 4 times, that's 8 business cards. Yeah?
Mm.
So then you can keep going around the circle. Oh, I left from home. Oh, do you work from home? Yeah, I'm a sole trader. Oh my gosh, that must be so difficult. Like, is your workload a lot? Yes. Okay, well, your workload's a lot. What would happen if you don't work and you get ill? Critical insurance. Do you invest? What's critical insurance? I don't know. Whenever you get due, so if we get here now, the what if, this is where we did the these are all the services. Okay. Now the what if. Say if you talk to them about what if critical insurance. What's critical insurance? They don't know. Say if that's a yes. We'll tackle that in a minute. They don't know. What's the next thing you can do when they don't know? They've never heard of, they don't know what insurance is. What's the next thing you could say to keep the conversation flowing?
I can tell you more by tomorrow for tea or coffee.
Yeah. But before that, you have a star winner here. You have a star swap. What can you use here to strengthen the trust and likability?
If they have no. Oh, okay. So I can say from my experience. Like
Good, I didn't even have to bring it up. Excellent. So we've got about your experience. B, it happened to you. And in the networking, you can allow all this. You just allow 3 minutes. So at home, you need to just practice 3 minutes. 3 short sentences. Your experience, how it happened to you, and how the critical helped you.
Okay.
So if they say no and they say to coffee yes,
Okay.
if they say no and they're still not sure, you come here and give them your experience, and then that's another winner for a coffee.
To give my experience if they say no.
Yeah.
But if they say they're not interested.
If they say no once, this is some. If they say no, this is one thing you can say to get a coffee. Let me do here. If they say no again, what could be your next thing to get a coffee?
If they say no, second time, you can start from. I can't believe it's. No, but I cannot say that. I cannot believe it. You're not interested. You know, like that's.
The other one that's always a winner. What if family? Because you've got another experience. If you're happy to talk about it, like the death, that's an. Or you just say you remember your mum working 2 days or how many.
2 jobs in a day.
Yeah, that if you're happy to talk about it very briefly, that's all you need to say. Oh, I remember my mum. Let me tell you a bit more over coffee. or let me learn more about your family that we can do for coffee. I'm going to give you that a bit more of an example in a minute, how you extend this. But this is something quickly you could say. What if your family? And then they could say, my family this, okay, let's talk about it more for coffee. The other thing is to bring back, if they say no to that, the other thing to bring back is, what if your business ill? This is a very good one. The what if about your
business is gonna
because that covers mostly a lot of that sector. Sole trader, what if your business, how does it cover? That's another one. And then the other one to use, if it's a no, the location. Everybody's left a networking event, home burglary.
Okay.
Let's think of one more. So we've got one solution, two solutions if they say no, three. Let's think of another four. I know I say power of three, but let's think of one more scenario if they say no.
Oh, I have another question.
Go on then.
So if they say I have already, so when they told me I have already, so I have the answer already for them. So I say that's fine. How long have you been with them? Cool. Have you spoke to your advisor recently? No, I haven't. No. That is my key when I need to go for
Right, let's keep that one as number 4 because, yeah, I have. And then you can still say, let's review because you know lots of brands.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Right, so this here is about when you're doing the follow-up, the preparing for coffee. Now, one of the things that's really important to get that yes is when you're at that stage of the business cards, make sure you ask them, when you're preparing for the networking event, make sure you ask them what form of communication to follow up. In other words, do you want text, email, or a phone call? So important. And I have a LinkedIn article, I'll send it to you. It's so important because that will get you a yes or no. You tell them, and on their business card you need to make sure you write it because that's trust, likability, and them seeing you professional and an industry expert, that you're respectful of their time.
Oh, so I wrote it down straight on the business card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then, when you have follow-ups for your coffee meeting, do you have certain places you like to go?
My personal one.
Where do you take people for coffee?
For coffee, I prefer to go in the restaurant so we can have a snack, a bite or something.
Okay, where is it?
It can be on my area, like a Canary Wharf.
Oh, okay.
Depends on the person who I'm meeting.
Right, okay.
Before I meet him, so I do a little bit of research of that area. And I'll just find it can be like a place where it can be affordable, you see, so I don't want to spend
Now what you need to do is, for location, you need to make sure you have Canary Wharf and a central London.
Yeah.
That's W1.
Yeah.
And to strengthen it, when you're at the networking event, at this point, here, at this point, when you say, let's meet for coffee, at the Master of Art of Conversation number 3, say to them, location of your choice. Canary Wharf near my office, because this sounds very professional. Not far from the tube. In London, you have to keep saying this tube station. Or we can have a central London. So what you have to do to prepare is, you know I say 3, make sure you have 3 restaurants at all time and keep to the same ones. And when you do that, make sure you choose somewhere that's quiet, Wi-Fi, because it's a personal,
business owner.
and make sure you say that to them, a location of your choice, and it's a quiet location that we can talk because it's a personal scenario. Make sure you say that to them because that will get you a yes. Then the other thing is, when you have your coffee with them, because obviously at this point it's either going to be a yes or a no, do you obviously send them an email to confirm?
Yeah.
Right. Now what you need to do is, let me put location here, is you make sure when you do an email, 24-hour or the 9 o'clock the day before, send them a text. Send them a text message with the location.
Text or email?
Text. So you'll email them as you normally do. This is your own way.
Okay, yeah. Is it
This
working
is how you normally do it. But the day before, so if we're meeting today, like how I did with you, 9 o'clock the day before, send them a text message. Yeah? Okay. Then the next thing is, when you have the conversation with them, do you do it in a structured way? Do you ask them questions beforehand?
Is it basically, so I'm just like, a little bit know him, a little bit relate, and then go into, I just find a time when it's a quiet time, so I just say, look, let's not forget what we're here for.
Right, yeah, okay. So, let me just do 3. So here, when you have the coffee meeting, when you're preparing, make sure you have your start, middle, and end, which is the close. Right? Because the close is either going to be a yes or a no. I'm not going to go through the yes because you'll know what to do. If it's a no, obviously find out what their reasoning is, but 2 things you must try and do here is tell them you're going to follow up by a certain date, and what you need to do then is always come back here and say which form. Because do you see how I sent you a PDF on the text WhatsApp? People are preferring WhatsApp and stuff. So you want them to read it quickly. When you summarise, you want them to get the yes. If it's text message and you just outline or what the price is. But you must make sure you tell them what the next step is and the communication and what the next steps are by that communication. So if they say text message, you need to find a way to summarise. And if you want to go have a think about it, and this is the time period, I'll come back to you in 12 days, 10 days, and then this will be the next step. So that there's no delay. Because what you'll find with insurance, because it's not a need, I've got to get a website done, all the customers, or I need coaching, you have to keep kind of prompting them with that. You have to prompt them that, come on, let's get our rec together. And this is the next step. Yeah? Okay.
As well, when I meet them, so what I go for is I ask them straight.
Yeah.
How long time you have? Because sometimes the time is not enough.
Yeah.
I just go straight. It's like how much time you have.
So if it's a totally no, what do we do?
Referral.
Or family. Everybody got family. Auntie, uncle.
Yeah, my sister is going to be more interesting than you, and then it's just going to be
absolutely.
Than me. What are you saying than me?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
They get more time to return.
Absolutely. So I am going to put our interview on the podcast into 3 sections so you're aware of it. But while I'm writing it here, if you have any questions, let me know. Ask me any questions now and I'll answer it.
Okay. I have this question, like, sometimes I find it hard to speak to them. Some people, they're really strict on, I don't know, maybe they're, why I say sometimes people, they're looking at you and they give you like that kind of face, like, leave me alone or give me a break or something. And I feel like they really need me, but sometimes I just give up. So I say, okay, cool, you have a good day.
Okay, is this in the networking?
Yeah.
So say it again.
So I say, when I meet somebody, so I don't know, it's, I think it's only on my mind. So I see him like he's not interesting. Oh, I just put this one is on my mind, stick. So I say, oh, this guy is not interesting. So it's something which maybe I'm thinking like this, which is, I'm saying, is like not true. So he needs me. So that's why I'm here. Because on the insurance, so everyone needs an insurance. So I don't need to look for people. People that need to look for me. But is it hard because I'm new in the business, I say. So people, they know like they need to build trust and they need to know you. And that is what is the most weakness. I need to find out like what basically I need for kind of where I'm going to know what I'm there for. Where I'm going, sometimes it gets successful. So I get 2-3 business cards. And I kind of, but there's like, if I give you, so if you need people, you need to give me people. So everyone there's like, let's say, is doing property investor or maybe marketing, online marketing. So if you're gonna get me somebody, I will bring you somebody. So I was like, yeah, but it's not, I'm here talking to you. So, you know, if I will know somebody, but there's like all the times, everyone looking for something which they're gonna be benefit for them to give you something back. So they need like a kind of trust.
And are these people when they are definitely interested or they're not interested?
Sometimes they're not interesting. Because everyone they're so relaxed. Let me tell you, because, you know, I have insurance, I'm fine. So when I have this kind of words, so I know you're fine, but what I'm doing basically is I'm doing free advice. So everything you have, so we leave it how it is. If you get a good deal, we leave it, or otherwise what we can do, so we can do, I can help you, give a better deal. And there's like, oh, you know.
Right, it's coming here. So it's like when they're saying a no, or they're not interested.
Yeah.
If I put this here, like, is this in the networking event or in general anywhere?
Sometimes in general.
Anywhere or on the phone?
In a general.
I think what you should do here is again sticking to 3. When they're bugging out, come back about your experience. Can I tell you a bit more? You either, if it's on the phone and they're not interested and they're clearly bugging out, say, can I book 30 minutes for a quick coffee? Because I'll just like to share with you my experience. How you were home for how long when you were sick?
2 months.
I was home for 2 months. How the insurance helped me, and I'll give you a free review. Should something like this happen to you and affect your business or affect you or your family, let me give you a free review of a what if scenario. And you can ask me any questions and you have to say the word. You're gonna, when it's somebody not interested, you have to bring in 30 minutes.
From your time, yeah.
Because they're incy, just with a quick coffee. And also just put in that word. Or if it's the restaurant, and I'll treat you to a quick bite to eat. or a quick coffee, and I'll give you a free review at the end, sharing what happened to me and why I'm passionate and I really believe in it because it happened to me, and are we going to use that? Because I'm going to say why you see this?
Yeah.
We're going to use that in the interview. So I'm going to say why come for coffee, and you're going to tell me because share passion about insurance. Because this behind the scenes is selling, but I hate the word selling. You have to show why, what, how for people to understand. So I want to tell you, because I'm going to say, why should people meet you for coffee? Everybody wants to sell houses, blah, blah, blah. Why? And then you'll say, because I want to share why I'm passionate, and then share what happened to me. So that's that word, happened to me. What happened to me, and then without insurance, again, what would have happened, and how, with the insurance, how it helped me. So when they're antsy, bring that, and then at the end, you'll say review. So it's very much why I'm passionate, what happened to me that led me to get into insurance.
A story on myself.
Because it's a story, everybody loves a story. And what the insurance did to me, and you have to be dramatic, if I never had insurance, this would not have happened. And when I had the insurance, this is how it helped me. So without it, this is what could happen. So I'd like to discuss with you that if you get into a scenario and you don't have insurance, this is what could happen to you. So you have to be dramatic, you know?
What will happen to you
if you don't? Yes, if you don't.
Yes.
So this is what we're going to do in the interview is I'm going to go through it and say, hi Alex, could you introduce yourself? So you'll say, hi, my name's Alex. You're self-employed, right?
Yeah.
I'm a self-employed. What do they say your job title is?
Specialist insurance advisor.
Okay, yeah, so you'll say you're a specialist of it. Then I'll leave it at that. Then I'll say, okay, who are the type of clients you work with? And then I'll say, what are the services? And you can list that. Then I'll actually, this I've already written it. Then I'll say, exactly what is insurance? What do you cover? Then you'll say that. Then I'll say, so the show is all about coffee, I'll bring that in. Why should people book a coffee with you? Because I'm going to put your details in if they need insurance. Because it's a business audience, I think we should target business and property. And the what if, I think will be great. I'll bring it in about going to events, home burglary or whatever, or sales decline, and then family, you know, you have to feed yourself. If anything were to happen to yourself, the critical insurance. And then that will tie in nicely. Then I'll say, why should somebody have coffee with you? Then you can say, well, Bella, it's a bit like what you're talking about, the critical insurance. When I come for coffee, I would like to tell you why, and it's a bit like the critical insurance. The reason that I'm passionate, because it happened to me, and then we'll do good.
Okay.
So,
because this one, sorry.
Yeah.
So the critical one, is it more about income protection? Income protection.
Yeah, you can detail
Yes,
especially, but we'll do it in a way that we target this and this.
Business property.
Yeah.
What about for personal as well?
Which the
Personal, like a physical person, like for a person.
What do you mean?
Is it?
Oh, right, yeah, and it's individual as well. We can,
Yeah.
you can put individual for friend, for individual for family as well. Yeah.
Individual for family.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, so that
So
one.
when you do client type, match it to this.
Okay.
All right. Okay. What I do think would be good for you is because I looked at your LinkedIn. And I really think it will be to bump up the numbers for referrals. I think I looked at your LinkedIn, so I think I should have a look of bumping up your LinkedIn for you, and helping you write some more activities because you haven't got any activities here. So I'll show you how you can. I think we should have another session where I'll work with you to show you how you can just spend 30 minutes a day or 3 days a week just doing simple updates to bring it up. What time do you normally get up or start work?
Is it around 10 o'clock?
Okay, because I could give you a window like either 9:45 to 10:15 or a window during your day where you just spend 30 minutes just 3 times a day. I can show you what to do on here. But what I also can create for you, which is going to make your following up better, is I can set up this set more, which means you'll have your own URL like this.
Yeah.
And then when they click on it here, I'll show you how you can have an available calendar, and it makes it look really professional. And then they can book their own days. So say if you know you're going to be in Canary Wharf at a certain day, then they can book it. So say for example, and then what I'll do is I'll link it with LinkedIn. So I'll show you a way in your connections that you have, when you write like a message here, you can put this in, and we can, because sometimes you may not get time to go to all the networking events, you might have a busy week. So I'll say to you, okay, Alex, let's aim for you to send at least maybe 8 to 10 messages a week, because then you could say, hi, we're connected on LinkedIn. Can I treat you for 30 minutes coffee or something? You can choose your own date, and then that will bump up some of your numbers. So say for example, Say for example, we'll look at like 1 week when you're networking, but there might be 1 week you're working from home or working with clients. So I'll work with you like this, and then we can set a certain day, and then say if it's Thursday or Friday, and then you can just send 5 messages out, and then you'll know like the probability that at least you'll get 2 or 3 coffees from that using that link.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll need to do that on a separate date to do that, and it will probably, we could just knock it out another 2 hours. I can book like a session here. So do you think that will be something you'll be interested in?
Well, definitely, it's gonna be. I want to expand. I want to.
Yeah.
I want to.
So what I can do is look at when there's a date. So because this one is LinkedIn, let me have a look. It'll take us an hour. Because it involves LinkedIn, and I'll set all of this up. You'll just tell me what email address is good for you, because you've got 2.
Yeah, I think the
professional one.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me to set everything up, and then we do the session, because I'll have to do behind, and I'll set this up for you. To do this session, and I'll do it behind. This one will be 150. Would that be alright with you? 150 to do.
150?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that alright for your budget?
Even for that 2 hours?
Yeah, because I have to do behind the scenes. I'll set this up for you first. I'll set this up, and I'll put all your details here, like how mine is.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody comes into it, here, I'll set all of this, and then all your details and everything comes on here like this. And the services. So I'll set it all up, and then I'll train you on how to do it. So all of this I'll put in for you.
Mhm.
Yeah?
Okay.
And then what happens is I'll just ask you if you're happy for your name, because when I did it for my client, that's what I did for her. I put her name here. So instead of Bella Rareworld, Wendy Rose. So that's the one I did for her. And then I put, well, she's a coach, so we did it at her coffee meetings on Tuesday, so I'll figure out what day you do it. But I think one of the things you should do to help you get more sales is, instead of face-to-face, do telephone for LinkedIn to say, let's just have a 30-minute telephone call.
Oh, okay. It's better than this one you're saying.
No, we still use this,
Yeah.
but they can book it so that you can maximise your time, because it takes travel to go somewhere, that they could do 30 minutes by telephone or not just face. So if they say, oh, I can't meet for coffee, then say, well, we could do it on the telephone instead of...
But I can